Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to my review of this year's Tribute to the Troops. This is the 15th annual Tribute to the Troops, and I wait all year because it's a good time for WWE when they put on these Tribute to the Troops show. They're really enjoyable, and really like how they've been doing this every year for 15 years, entertain our troops. And they've been doing this, if you haven't known the history of Tribute to the Troops, it all started in 2003. It was the idea created by JBL. He suggested it to Vince McMahon, and Vince, really liked it, and they put on the show. And the first one was held in 2003 in December. It was Christmas Day. It was an episode of SmackDown, and I remember watching this, which I remember the main event was Cena versus Big Show, and I remember Cena won the match, and then after it, Stone Cold came out, and he hit the stunner on both men, and after he did all that, he invited all the superstars backstage to come to the ring to celebrate the superstars that were in WWE back in the day. And the first one was from Baghdad, Iraq. And next year, 2004, it was another SmackDown show. It was from Tikrit, Iraq, I think that's how you pronounce it, which had Eddie Guerrero, and I remember it was Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. They ended up beating Kurt Angle and Luther Reigns. Luther Reigns, who was with Kurt Angle at the time. So that was a SmackDown special, for the Tribute to the Troops. Sorry about that, but that was in 2004. And then the next year in 2005, it was a Raw show where we saw Shawn Michaels beat Triple H in a boot camp match, which that was a good match, and that was from Afghanistan, from Bagram, Afghanistan. Then 2006, they went back to Baghdad. It was another Raw special. So, and then in 2007, they went back to Tikrit, Iraq. It was another Raw. It was another Raw show. 2008, they went to Camp Liberty, which is in Baghdad. So it was just a special, though, a tribute to the troops, regular. It wasn't a special Raw or SmackDown show. It was just tribute to the troops. And then in 2009, they went back to Iraq, and then in 2010, I think they started going to arenas. I think that what it was, or it was maybe 2011. Because I remember, they stopped going overseas, and they had some years they had the Tribute to the Troops show in the arenas. So, and tonight's Tribute to the Troops, I thought it was a very enjoyable show. Had some decent had a lot of decent enjoyable matches tonight, and the show opened up with Lillian Garcia singing the national anthem. Fantastic voice, fantastic singing voice that she has. Really enjoy whenever she's out there for special WWE shows, and she sang. She sings. It was very enjoyable. I really loved it. And then we had the first match, The Shield versus Cesaro and Sheamus and Samoa Joe. Decent match, decent enjoyable match. We've seen members, The Shield, Seth, Dean, and Roman go up against Cesaro and Sheamus. They've been going at it a lot of times for weeks with them on Raw, and it was just this was enjoyable. It was a decent, enjoyable match. It was back and forth between them. The match ended with Seth Rollins hitting a knee to Sheamus, and Dean hit the Dirty Deeds on Sheamus, which led to Roman hitting the spear on Cesaro to score the win for them. And then you had, after the match, the Shield was just thanking the troops, which was great. Roman says to them, he says to them that they bring the fight. Seth thanks the troops for what they have done. Also, Dean thanks them. It's very, very enjoyable. Really loved, what they said, to the troops. But it was a decent, enjoyable match with the Shield and Cesaro, Sheamus, and Samoa Joe. Then we had a triple threat women's match. It was Charlotte versus Ruby Riott and Carmella. And you had Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, half of the Riott squad out there. Tamina and Lana were out there. You had Natalya come down, but she didn't end up getting in the ring because Charlotte was saying to Natalya, "Oh, why don't you get in the ring? Come on, Natalya, get in the ring." But Natalya didn't. She just stood there. But it was an enjoyable women's match. It was back and forth between them. The match ended well. Before I get to that, you had a really cool part of the match where Charlotte gave a double suplex to both Ruby Riott and Carmella, and the match ended with Charlotte putting Carmella in the figure 8. Carmella then tapped out to that, so Charlotte ended up winning. And after the match, Charlotte, thanked the woman talks about the women troops, says to them, that they are the true champions, and really loved that. Really loved that saying. What she said to the women troops, it was very, very good. But it was a decent triple threat match, triple threat women's match. Then after that we had Machine Gun Kelly, Sam Harris from Ex Ambassadors, and BB Rexa, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. All three of them were performing their song called Home, which is going to be on the soundtrack to that upcoming Will Smith movie called Bright, which is going to be on Netflix. And saw the trailer to that film. It looks like it could be pretty good. Might give it a watch sometime, and if I do, there will be a review on that. But Machine Gun Kelly, I only like one of his songs. It was called "Oh My God," which that's the only song that I heard from Machine Gun Kelly. Haven't listened to anything else of his songs. But this was a pretty good performance from them, and the song is pretty good too. It's called Home. Then when the show came back from commercial, we had a KFC plug with Sergeant Slaughter, Dolph Ziggler, Miz, and Mark Henry. Sorry about that, but I was saying, there was that KFC plug, and it was a pretty good plug for KFC with them, just talking about, talking to the troops. Promo that they did, pretty enjoyable. And then we had the New Day and the Usos versus Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, Aiden English, and Rusev. This was an 8-man tag team match. The New Day, before the match, New Day ends up coming out, saying to the troops, it's all about them today, and that they're going to fight for them today and, entertain them. And then what was really funny was Aiden English ended up, came out, and all of them were booing him, which was really funny. The troops were booing him. It was just very funny. And the match was pretty good. It was very enjoyable. It was back and forth between them. You had one of the Usos jump out of the ring and onto the competitors out there. But the New Day ended up winning the match. They hit the midnight hour on Shelton Benjamin to score the win. But it was a good 8-man tag team match, and all these guys are fighting in the match Sunday at Clash of Champions for the SmackDown tag team titles. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. And then the next match, it was Absolution, Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose versus Mickie James, Bayley, and Sasha Banks. This was a decent women's match. Wasn't boring. It was actually entertaining. And Absolution, making their mark once again. And they won the match with Paige hitting the Rampage on Mickie James to score the win. So Absolution is becoming unstoppable so far. So, but all in all, it was an entertaining women's match. Very enjoyable. And then we had Machine Gun Kelly perform another song of his. This time his song was called Let Me Go. And I have to say, it was another good performance from Machine Gun Kelly. And it was a good song. It's a good song also, from hearing it for the first time. Good performance. Then we had the main event, which was Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn in a 6-man tag team match. Pretty good main event. Really enjoyed it. It was back and forth between them. You had, at the end of the match, you had Styles hitting the phenomenal forearm on Kevin Owens. Then Randy Orton hit the RKO on Jinder Mahal. And it led to Nakamura hitting the Kinshasa on Sami Zayn to score the win for him, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. What was funny was all the troops were booing Jinder Mahal, which was funny. But it was a good main event. Really liked how it flowed. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. It was fun. And at the end of the match, Nakamura, Orton, and Styles, were celebrating, their victory. So it was pretty cool way to end this year's show, to end this year's Tribute to the Troops. So good main event, in my opinion. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's Tribute to the Troops, or this year's Tribute to the Troops. This was the 15th annual Tribute to the Troops. So that's it for this review. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, I'll see you all later. Bye.